What's up, everyone? Time for some more games on Poki.se. Today is a snake game. Gonna try a classic snake game. Gonna select the first speed here. I don't know how fast it's gonna be. And play. And okay, do I need to? Okay, I can move with like arrow keys. It's a tiny delay from when I click in the button, so I need to remember that. Like there, I clicked and I don't know if you can see, but it's tiny delay. Classic snake game. I remember playing a very simple version of this on the Nokia. I had what was the Nokia called? 3310 or no? Never mind. The one of the earlier Nokia telephones there had the snake game, and back then it was a lot of fun because you didn't have sounds like I'm 100 years old, but you didn't have that much games, so it was fun to have the small games that you had. Of course, you had the Game Boy, and you had like at home you had Nintendo 8-bit and maybe this Super Nintendo back then, and but it was cool to have a phone with a built-in game. I remember later on I got my mother's old telephone that was also that was an Ericsson. Can't remember the name for it, but old Ericsson telephone that had Tetris, so you had to hold it sideways because the screen was how do you say, horizontal, I guess. I think it's called. And but the game was obviously vertical, so you had to hold the phone sideways, and the buttons were super tiny. And even though I had smaller hands when I was a little kid, it was still hard to control the game with those small buttons. But it was doable, and it was again a lot of fun because you weren't used to having games in your in other devices. Gaming devices were gaming devices back then, nothing else. I actually remember when we first got no, maybe not at first, but when we had the satellite or the box, we had I can't remember which of them, but one of the boxes had a built-in game, like a Space Invader game built in, and I thought that was so cool that the satellite box had a built-in game, and it was of course super crappy, but it was still kind of cool that you could play a game on that and use the remote control to control the little spacecraft and shoot. I have Googled and tried to find what the game was called, but I haven't found it. So and talking to other people, it seems that it wasn't that unusual either. There was some games built in, which is kind of cool. Of course, you also had the graphic calculators, Texas Instrument. But I remember buying one of those cheap because it was used. So I bought it for like, I can't remember, a couple of 100 Swedish kroners, which is kind of cheap for it back then. But I didn't have the cable for it, so I never got around to place games on it. So I think I sold that later on there, which I kind of regret now. But yeah. Also remember when I had my first 3G phone with a with a slidable camera. So if you wanted to take like selfie shots back then, you could. Oh no! Oh no! No! Okay, that was. I don't know how the game let me survive that, but okay, never mind. Like if you wanted to take a selfie shot, you could slide the camera, and it would point at you instead of away from you, and you could make video calls to your friends. And I had like a friend of mine, her boyfriend, that I still hang with, a good friend of mine. He worked at, I think it was Teknik Magasinet, a like Swedish geek shop, I guess, technical fun stuff. And I think they sold that phone, or if I remember correctly, or if it was on Siba, Swedish electronics store. And it was me, him, and her who had that phone. So we could only do video calls to like 3 people. But even though it was like that, we thought it was the coolest thing to make video calls to each other. And I think it was because all of us had a phone, what do you call phone, like operator, what's it called, had the same free, the service, the phone service. So I think we could make video calls for free to other people that had the system, of course, which in our case was only 3 people, but anyway. So yeah, and the video quality, I don't even know if it was 320 by 240. I don't even know if it was that good. And the videos, I don't think either you could do only in 320 by 240, or maybe you could do it in 640 by 480, maybe. But the quality was so bad. But back then you thought it was awesome because that's what you didn't have anything to compare it with. And the digital cameras back then, they weren't that awesome to begin with. And to have it in your phone to take pictures, and not only take pictures, you could take videos. That was awesome. That was insane back then. Please don't think that I'm 100 years old if you're watching this and you're like, oh, what? But yeah, back then it was simpler stuff. But it was a lot of fun when the digital camera actually started to become better. I know I had a camera that had 1.3 megapixels, and if I remember correctly, I thought that was really good back then, really good quality. Before that, I usually had like an analog camera with me to parties. So I would take pictures, or rather I would sort of get drunk and leave my camera to some girl on the party and say, here, take some pictures for me. And then you got the camera back in the late at night. And you turn in the camera to get the film, what's it called? Sorry, don't know what's it called in English. But you know, get the pictures. It was always some weird stuff on there, but it was fun. It was a lot easier when the digital camera started to come along, because then you could just watch the pictures from the beginning to see if you actually caught something on camera or not. Was a lot of disappointment with the analog cameras, that you thought you took a good picture, then it somehow got not in focus, or blurry in some other way, or oh no, damn it. Or you had your finger in the front of the lens, or it was too dark, or something like that. So yeah, easier when the digital camera came along. So that was Snake on Poki.se. I will include a link so you can play the game yourself. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.